Okay, so I've started to build the network of attorneys and started to understand the family court process and how that works. And it doesn't matter which state you're in. Every state has their own family law. They have their own box, right? And that's just the way that it is. And everything that we operate in life, there's a box, right? So, and unfortunately, there's one box to operate within the family law code, and it's hard to fit your family dynamic in that box, let alone now you have two split households trying to fit into one box. So, not all, the thing about attorneys, a lot of them just don't understand. They understand that there's some emotions with it, and people are mad at each other and whatnot, going through a family breakup or a divorce, what have you. And it's even so harder with kids. But a lot of attorneys just don't understand. I've had the opportunity to talk to I don't know how many different attorneys, and the small majority of them get it, and the small majority of them get the idea of creative thinking, if you will, right? On to take your family dynamic and fit it into this box where it has the best outcome for not only you, but your child, and most importantly, the child, because they are the ones that are ultimately affected by all of this. So, when you're trying to get started, it's very hard. You just hire an attorney, and a lot of people just, they Google it, turn to social media going, hey, I need an attorney for child custody, divorce, and you go talk to attorneys, and you're like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, sounds good, pay your, thousands of dollar retainer, and there you go, and sometimes you could find out that you have a horrible attorney. Yeah, they have the bar card and whatever else, and just because they have that doesn't mean that they necessarily get the impact of what's going on and how to properly navigate their clients through that. So out of that process, rather than look at the attorneys as horrible people or whatever else, and people are people, right? And don't get me wrong, there are some horrible attorneys out there, but it's all about doing our due diligence, and figuring out what questions to ask, how to talk to them, and really kind of self-educating yourself on what the family law code is in your particular state and how it can apply to your life. So that's my encouragement there, is to just talk to these attorneys, because like I said, not all of them are bad. If you're trying to get equal time, look at the determining factors, and ask them why. If they tell you no, you can't get 50-50 or equal time, ask them why you can't get that, and what you may need to change from their perspective in your life to obtain equal time. What can be done, because what a lot of these attorneys see is somebody walk in and say, hey, I want equal time, and they're like, it's just not going to happen, and parents get upset. Well, that's BS and everything else, and the attorneys are on the bad receiving end of it. I mean, that's just kind of how that happens sometimes. But you need to be level-headed, pull your emotion out of it, and try to self-educate yourself as much as you can, and what you can understand and pertain, and try to apply within your situation. So, and that's what I really got out of that. And luckily, because of that situation of being a co-parenting class facilitator, I was able to talk to a lot of attorneys. I can't even begin to tell you how many. So that was kind of like the vetting process for me, which was good, because I was able to have one-on-one conversations with a lot of these attorneys, and I got to refer these attorneys that get it to the parents that I was working with, and not only in my own personal situation, how to come up with a proper plan on how to do things. And I get that not everybody has that opportunity, but you can sit down and ask them some questions about and explain to them your life and how it operates and how that applies to the law. Trust me, easier said than done. I totally get it, but it's completely possible. So don't lose hope on that. Try to educate yourself as much as you can, and try to figure out how the law is going to apply and affect your life, affect your kids' life ultimately. So don't lose hope on that. Just do your due diligence on it, and I promise you, you will come up with a solid plan. And the most important thing here too, it's another thing in life. Are you putting God first in this process? And ultimately, that's where you need to start. How can I put God first in this situation and accept whatever the outcome may be? A lot of people will get discouraged with God because at the end of the day, they got the every other weekend or supervised visits, whatever the case may be. Don't be upset with God with that. And I was personally for a while. But there's so much that goes into that, and everybody's situation's different, but the common ground that we share is that we do need to put God first in everything that we do. That's where we're at right now, right? Going back to the previous videos of the foundation. And where we're at right now in my personal story, the foundation is poured and it's cured. And now it's starting to cure out, and the perspective is starting to change. The heart is my heart is starting to change, and that's where we all need to get to. So next one I'll be talking about on the framework. How do we frame this with God? All the outside influences that we have that make it a little bit difficult to navigate that, but the importance of putting up that framework and having God as our bracing. So our God is in our foundation, and God is going to be in our bracing within our framework. So I love y'all, and I'll talk to you soon.